Welcome back to our online space. Today, we are going to converse about a subject that can totally alter your English learning path. Daily actions for English ease. A lot of individuals desire to speak English smoothly. They purchase handbooks, view clips, discover grammar guidelines, and retain vocabulary. Yet, after months or even decades, they still battle to speak with courage. Why does this occur? The reply is basic. Flow is not created by studying once in a while. Flow is created by tiny daily routines practiced again and again.
Reflect upon it. A plant does not develop in one day. A powerful frame is not constructed in one exercise session. In the identical manner, smooth English is not manufactured in 1 week. It develops bit by bit through daily effort. The excellent news is that you do not require to study for 5 hours every day. You do not require to be an exceptionally smart person. You do not require flawless grammar. What you require are the proper actions and the willpower to track them regularly. In today's clip, I will communicate 7 influential daily routines.
These routines can assist you to advance your listening, speaking, vocabulary, courage, and general flow. These routines are basic, realistic, and ideal for newcomers. If you perform them every day, your English will become more powerful, more real, and more smooth over time. So remain with me until the finish, because each guide develops on the past one, and together they can produce a mighty shift in your English path. And if you truly desire to advance your English and become more certain every day, ensure you hit subscribe to the channel. Ensure you enter our learning group. Lesson 1. Pay attention to English every day. If you desire to become smooth in English, the primary routine you should build is paying attention to English every single day. Many students think talking is the most vital capability. Talking is vital, but before you can speak well, you must school your ears. Your ears are the entry point to flow. Reflect upon how an infant discovers a language. An infant does not open a grammar handbook. An infant does not retain hundreds of vocabulary terms.
An infant pays attention. Day after day, month after month, the infant hears individuals talking. Gently, the mind starts to comprehend the sounds, the speed, and the designs of the language. After sufficient paying attention, talking begins naturally. English students can discover in a very identical manner. When you pay attention to English every day, your mind starts becoming accustomed to the language. At first, you may comprehend only a few terms. You may feel mixed up. You may think individuals speak too rapidly. This is completely standard.
Every smooth English speaker was once a newcomer who battled to comprehend. Many students make a massive error. They pay attention to English for a few days and then stop because they cannot comprehend everything. They think this is too tough. But paying attention is not about comprehending every single term. Paying attention is about schooling your mind. Picture walking into the health club for the primary time. You cannot raise heavy objects on the primary day. Your tissues require time to grow more powerful. Paying attention operates the same. Every minute you pass paying attention is like physical exercise for your mind. Bit by bit, your paying attention tissues become more powerful. Begin with basic English. Pick material that matches your position. If something feels too tough, do not quit. Locate something more basic. The target is to pay attention steadily, not to surprise yourself with tough material. A very helpful routine is to pay attention during small periods throughout the day. Pay attention while preparing morning meals. Pay attention while tidying your space. Pay attention while strolling. Pay attention while training. Pay attention while resting in the night. These small periods may appear minor, but they collect. 10 minutes here and 15 minutes there can become hours of English contact every week. The lovely thing about paying attention is that you can do it virtually anywhere. You do not require a distinct classroom. You do not require pricey gear. You only require the desire to make English a part of your daily existence. As you proceed paying attention every day, something curious begins.
Something curious starts to take place. Terms that once felt odd begin to sound familiar. Statements that once appeared puzzling become simpler to comprehend. Your mind starts identifying popular phrases by itself. For instance, when you hear phrases like, "How are you doing?" "What do you mean?" "That sounds great." Or, "I don't know." Again and again, you stop changing them into your language. You comprehend them instantly. This is a vital step toward flow. Paying attention also assists to advance pronunciation. Many students battle with pronunciation because they do not hear sufficient English. The more you pay attention, the more your mind discovers the proper sounds. You begin observing how native speakers link terms, emphasize specific word parts, and use real speed. Do not stress if your advancement feels slow. Language discovery is often unseeable. Some days it may feel like nothing is shifting. Then, one day, you suddenly get that you comprehended a talk that was impossible for you a few months ago. That is how advancement operates. Small corrections take place quietly until they become impossible to look past. There is a basic reality that a lot of successful students comprehend. Flow is not created in one day. It is created one day at a time. Every time you pay attention to English, you are placing another piece in the base of your flow. So make paying attention a daily routine. Even if you are occupied, even if you are weary, even if you can only pay attention for a few minutes, remain steady. Recall, every smooth English speaker has passed thousands of hours. Every smooth speaker has passed thousands of hours paying attention to English. The more English you hear, the more real it becomes. School your ears every day, and one day your mouth will track. That is how flow begins. Lesson 2. Talk English out loud every day. Many English students pass years reviewing grammar, retaining vocabulary, and examining books. Yet they still feel worried when it is time to talk. Why does this take place? Because talking is a capability, and like every capability, it advances only when you perform it steadily. Picture a person who views hundreds of clips about moving in water but never steps into the pool. Will that person become an excellent swimmer? Of course not. The identical thing takes place with English. You can discover many guidelines and many terms, but if you do not talk, your flow will never grow as fast as it could. This is why talking English out loud every day is one of the most influential routines you can construct. Your mouth requires training just as much as your mind does. When you talk, you school your tongue. When you talk, you school your tongue, your lips, and your voice to make English sounds naturally. Many newcomers wait for the flawless moment to begin talking. They think, "I will talk when my grammar is flawless." Or they state, "I will talk when I know more vocabulary." The trouble is that this flawless moment never arrives. Smooth speakers are not individuals who waited until they were flawless. They are individuals who began before they felt prepared. At first, talking may feel troublesome. You may drop terms. You may make grammar errors. You may stop in the middle of a statement because you do not know what to state next. That is completely standard. Errors are not symbols of losing. Errors are symbols that you are discovering.
One of the easiest methods to practice talking is to talk to yourself. Some individuals feel odd when they hear this concept, but it is one of the finest approaches for newcomers. You do not require a companion. You do not require a classroom. You can begin right now.
When you arise in the morning, state what you are performing. I am rising out of bed. I am preparing breakfast. I need to wash myself. I have an occupied day today. These basic statements may not appear vital, but they school your mind to reflect and talk in English at the identical time. You can also talk about your environment. Glance around your space and state what you see. There is a desk close to the window. My telephone is on the workspace. The climate looks bright today. This type of action instructs you. This type of action instructs you how to use English in real existence. As you become more relaxed, try talking for longer blocks of time. Talk about your targets, your pastimes, your preferred film, your household, or your arrangements for the future. Do not stress if your statements are basic. Basic English spoken with certainty is much better than complex English that is never spoken. Talking every day also assists you to become quicker. In the beginning, your mind may take a long time to construct a statement. In the beginning, your mind may take a long time to construct a statement. You think about every term. You change everything into your language. This method feels slow and tiring. But when you perform daily, your mind starts constructing statements automatically. Regular terms and phrases become simpler to recall. You pass less time reflecting and more time sharing ideas. Courage develops the identical manner. Many students trust courage arrives primary and talking arrives second. In truth, talking arrives first. In truth, talking arrives primary and courage arrives second. The more you talk, the more relaxed you become. The more relaxed you become, the more certain you feel. Courage is constructed through action, not waiting. Reflect about a student named Ayan. When he began discovering English, he was scared of making errors. Every time he desired to talk, he became worried. Because of this anxiety, he remained quiet most of the time. One day, Ayan made a basic choice. He would talk English for 10 minutes every day. He would talk English for 10 minutes every day, no matter what. Some days he talked about his food. Some days he talked about his employment. Some days he stated his arrangements for the weekend. His English was not flawless. He made many errors, but he kept moving. After a few weeks, talking became simpler. After a few months, he observed that he could share his concepts much quicker. The routine that appeared tiny at the start completely changed his power to converse. The identical thing can take place to you. The identical thing can take place to you. Recall, flow is not constructed by remaining quiet. Flow is constructed by talking, even when it feels tough. Every statement you talk is a step forward. Every error instructs you something. Every day of action moves you closer to your target. So make a guarantee to yourself. Talk English out loud every day. Talk when you feel certain. Talk when you feel worried. Talk when your statements are flawless. Talk when they are not. Because every smooth speaker began exactly here. Because every smooth English speaker began exactly where you are now, with basic terms, basic statements, and the bravery to unlock their mouth and begin. Lesson 3. Examine something in English every day. If paying attention is nourishment for your ears and talking is exercise for your mouth, then examining texts is schooling for your mind. Examining texts is one of the most influential daily routines for English flow because it assists you to discover vocabulary, grammar, sentence setup, and real phrases. It assists you to discover vocabulary, grammar, sentence setup, and real phrases all at the identical time. Many students trust that examining texts is dull or less vital than talking. But the reality is that almost every smooth English speaker passes a lot of time examining texts. Examining texts loads your mind with English. It displays to you how real statements are manufactured. It instructs you how terms operate together naturally. Reflect about this for a brief moment. When you talk, you use terms. When you talk, you use terms that are already inside your mind. If your mind holds only a small quantity of English, then your talking will also be restricted. Examining texts assists you to place more English into your mind every day. One of the largest errors students make is picking material that is too tough. They open a handbook filled with advanced vocabulary and long, complex statements. After a few pages, they feel weary, blocked, and down. Discovering English is not a race. You do not require to examine tough material to advance. In fact, examining basic English steadily is often much more useful. Pick reading materials that you can comprehend without too much trouble. When you comprehend most of what you examine, your mind discovers naturally. You like the method more, and you are more likely to proceed. The target is not to finish the most difficult handbook. The target is to produce a daily reading routine that you can keep up for months and years. Picture Ananya. Picture a student named Ananya. She desired to advance her English rapidly. She purchased a very tough handbook because she thought it would assist her discover quicker. Every page held many unfamiliar terms. She stopped regularly to check the dictionary. Examining texts became stressful. After a few days, she stopped. Later, she shifted her method. She began examining basic English tales and short pieces for 15 minutes every day. She comprehended most of what she examined. She liked the journey. Most importantly, she proceeded. After several months, her vocabulary grew naturally. Her courage expanded. Examining texts became one of her preferred parts of discovering English. The guide is basic. Staying steady is more vital than toughness. Examining texts every day also assists you to discover grammar without feeling like you are reviewing grammar. When you see proper English statements again and again, your mind begins to spot designs. For instance, after examining hundreds of statements like, "I went to the shop yesterday," "She finished her task early," "They viewed a film last night," you naturally begin comprehending how the past time form operates. You may not even reflect about grammar guidelines. Your mind discovers through contact. This is one reason why youngsters discover languages so effectively. They see and hear language designs repeatedly. Examining texts gives adult students an identical benefit. Examining texts also shows you helpful phrases that native speakers use every day. For instance, "I'm looking forward to it." That makes sense. "As soon as possible." "I can't wait." When you meet these phrases many times, they become familiar. Finally, you begin using them in your own talks. This makes your English sound more real and more smooth. An influential routine is to examine with attention instead of doing it blindly. Do not dash through the text. Give attention to helpful terms and phrases. Observe how statements are set up. Ask yourself basic questions about what you are examining. You do not require to study every term. Center on comprehending the main concept. Enjoy the material.
Let English become something you experience, not something you constantly inspect. Examining texts also firms up your courage. Every page you finish shows that you are making advancement. Every section you comprehend displays that your English is advancing. Some days you may only examine. Some days you may only examine for 5 minutes. Other days you may examine for 20 or 30 minutes. The vital thing is to keep the routine living. Recall flow is not manufactured by one massive try. It is manufactured by small actions done every day. A few pages today may not appear vital. A few pages tomorrow may not appear vital either. But after weeks and months, those pages become thousands of new terms, hundreds of helpful phrases, and a much deeper comprehension of English. So make reading a routine.
So, make examining texts a daily routine. Examine something basic. Examine something intriguing. Examine something you like. Do not stress about being flawless. Do not stress about comprehending every term. Just keep examining, because every page you examine is another step toward English flow, and every day you pass examining moves you closer to talking English with courage, clarity, and comfort. Lesson 4. Discover and use new terms every day. Vocabulary is one of the most vital segments.
Vocabulary is one of the most vital segments of English flow. If grammar is the frame of a language, vocabulary is the skin and muscle. Without terms, you cannot share your reflections, present your concepts, ask questions, or comprehend other individuals. Many students pass years reviewing English, but still battle to talk. The reason is often basic. They do not know sufficient terms, or they know terms but do not use them. Discovering vocabulary is not just about identifying terms.
It is about making those terms a part of your daily existence. Reflect about a mason who desires to construct a house. The mason requires bricks. The more bricks he possesses, the larger and more powerful the house can become. Vocabulary operates in the identical manner. Every new term you discover becomes another piece in your English flow. Many newcomers make a popular error. They try to discover 50 or 100 new terms in a single day. At first, they feel thrilled. They write charts. They write long vocabulary charts and pass hours retaining them. A few days later, they drop most of those terms. Why does this occur? Because the mind retains facts better when it is discovered slowly and used steadily. Discovering 5 helpful terms every day and actually using them is much more influential than retaining 50 terms and never using them again. Picture a student named Rahul. Every week, he discovered hundreds of terms from vocabulary handbooks. He could identify them. He could identify many terms during exams. But when he tried to talk English, his mind became empty. One day, he altered his plan. Instead of discovering many terms, he centered on just 5 new terms each day. He used each term in several statements. He spoke them out loud. He wrote them in a booklet. He tried to use them in talks. After a few months, his vocabulary became more powerful than ever before because the terms had become part of his active vocabulary, not just terms he had retained.